Hey everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Skilled Fawn, and today we are going to be doing a Need for Speed Most Wanted challenge run. Let's waste no time and get straight into the rules. Starting off, we can only use one car in this run. This will be interesting to try since a lot of the middle to late game cars are much better than the earlier options. Next, we must beat the game. Subsequently, we must defeat all bosses. Because we are playing on the Xbox 360, we cannot do boss skips. Lastly, glitches and or exploits are allowed, so expect some cheeky ways to get around races and take down cops and such. Quick few notes. Cops are going to be the run ender in this challenge. We need to make sure we don't get busted often so we don't lose the car, resulting in us losing the challenge. Next, this is a non-Nuzlocke run, so we don't need to worry about losing our car in the races. If you're interested in seeing a Nuzlocke run with stock cars, check out the link above where I tried out the challenge. Need for Speed Most Wanted is one of my favorite games, and so I'm really excited to share this run with everyone. Let me know down below if you'd like to see more Most Wanted content in the future. Make sure to smash the like button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Without further ado, let's get into the run. We start the run talking to Razor and Mia. Afterwards, we blaze through a bunch of the intro races, till eventually we lose our ride when Razor and the other Blacklist members sabotage our ride. Once we link back up with Mia, she brings us to the car lot, where we can choose our one and only car. There are 4 options to choose from at the start. If we had the extra cash, the Volkswagen would have been the best, but since we don't, the next best option is the Chevy Cobalt in my opinion. As we progress through the first Blacklist member, I will showcase what the player is required to do for those unfamiliar. Essentially, there are certain races, milestones, and bounty required to keep progressing through the game. As the player goes further and further into the game, there will be higher and higher requirements to enter Blacklist races. For the first Blacklist member, Sonny, 3 races are required, alongside 3 milestones, and lastly 20,000 bounty. Races are fairly self-explanatory, but with milestones and bounty, I'll go a little bit more in depth. Milestones are things like trade paint with 5 cop cars or escape a pursuit in less than 3 minutes, and these are fairly simple early on in the game. Bounty is awarded depending on heat level and how many cops the player takes down. This is a quick overview of how the player goes through the game. That being said, with there being 15 Blacklist members, it would be tough to showcase each one in a single video. Instead, I will highlight the various funny and interesting moments in the challenge run. If you are interested in seeing the full run alongside each boss fight, check out my second channel where I post streams and highlights. We eventually reach Sonny, the first Blacklist member that we need to take down in order to retrieve our BMW that Razor stole. Both of Sonny's races are circuit events, and these are one of my least favorite events. This is because 70+% of the circuit races usually take 5 to 10 plus minutes to complete them, which, compared to a quick and easy toll booth event, it's just, it's night and day. Regardless, we didn't have much of a problem in these events, and we ended up taking down Sonny. After defeating him, we get to choose our rewards. Afterwards, we take on Taz, the 14th Blacklist member. He has got this sweet Lexus, and I dig the side vinyls. Taz has 2 sprint races, which I enjoy a lot more, and find them easier than the circuit races. Since we have a slightly tuned Cobalt with NOS now, things are a bit more manageable. One reason that I chose the Cobalt compared to the other starting cars is because of the supercharger and the top speed. The supercharger is really useful even stock because it helps give me that extra power to switch into the next gear. Once we defeat Taz, we collect some rewards and get something really good. We go to the parts store and we get a suspension aftermarket upgrade from Taz and equip it onto the car. To explain a bit, the player can have both aftermarket parts alongside the regular upgrade parts. Using these in synergy will provide the player with the best possible car. Once the engine and mechanical components were upgraded, I turned my attention to styling the car. After some time of fiddling around with colors and designs, we head back out to complete more races and such. Going through the game a few more hours, we take down other Blacklist members, gaining bounty and respect. A notable Blacklist member was Baron. This is the point where boss fights and races in general can get really rubber bandy, meaning people in the way back of races can get near instantly whipped to the front of the group, which is just really tough. Definitely not like Underground 2, but still. Baron has a fast car, so we will have to be cautious to not get too far ahead of him. The toughest part of Baron's boss fight, and I think where the Cobalt struggles the most, is in the drag races. It gets a lot worse further into the challenge, which you will see, but the starting perfect shift will always be in the red RPM range, which could potentially lead to me blowing my engine up. Because of this, it usually would take a few tries or more during drag races. Eventually we take down Baron. Trying to do some cop chases to collect some milestones and bounty, I unfortunately got busted. This is the first time and hopefully won't become a recurring event. We blaze through Kaze's various races and then collect her rewards. To showcase the car and how upgraded it can get, here are all the aftermarket parts I've attached onto the car. These will all boost my car's stats massively. Remember too, these aftermarket upgrades work in synergy with the regular upgrade components spent with cash. Essentially by this point, we have a supercar with a cobalt body. I got busted another time. This is starting to get concerning since if I keep getting busted, then eventually I'll lose the car in challenge. In JV's boss fight, similarly with Baron, I struggled in the drag race event, but more so in JV's. He is insanely difficult and it doesn't help that his car has the acceleration of a cheetah. After many fails of me crashing, we eventually make it through the event. We eventually reach Ronnie, the third Blacklist member and one of Razor's closest friends. By this point in the game, the opponents are driving supercars, so thankfully we have our car pretty upgraded. Ronnie has 2 circuit events with a standard sprint race in the middle of them. It's pretty funny that at one point in the circuit event, Ronnie got completely glitched out and just didn't know what to do. This was really helpful and let me gain a huge lead on him. After some time, we take down one of Razor's main boys. In between Ronnie and Bull's boss fights, I was collecting some bounty and milestones. This is the point in the game regarding cops where shit really hits the fan. The higher the level, the harder and more aggressive they become. Reaching the max level, we rip around the map and tried to take them down. By this point, we have a nearly fully upgraded, if not fully upgraded, Chevy Cobalt, so this should help me get away from the cops. The car at the beginning of the game sounded fairly clean, but now with it fully upgraded, it just sounds so nice, especially those shifting noises. But yeah, I really just want to showcase how hectic and crazy these later game cop chases can get. In my opinion, the cop chases are a huge reason why I think this game was so popular. Obviously, the main story and gameplay helped, but I think the cops also played a huge role. From them talking to each other in an almost realistic manner, to them being scary to face against, especially those darn rhinos, and so much more, it just made the game a lot more enjoyable. Entering the second to last Blacklist member race, we take him on. Bull has 1 circuit and 2 sprint races, so it was fairly straightforward. I should mention that with the fully upgraded car, we now have something that can actually go really fast. I mentioned in the beginning that the reason I chose this car was because of the supercharger and the top speed. Well, in the beginning and mid-game, the top speed was pretty good and definitely doable. By the 6th to 5th Blacklist member, the opponents could definitely do 200 plus easily. With my car having only 5 gears, I was stuck going maybe 188 miles per hour max. Thankfully, after upgrading the car to its highest, we switched the transmission, which gave us a 6th gear, allowing us to go to 220 plus. We didn't have too much trouble with Bull, and the Cobalt worked phenomenally. Eventually, we take down Bull, so let's head into the final boss fight. The final boss in the Blacklist is Razor. This is the guy who stole our car at the beginning by sabotaging our ride. Razor has 5 events that need to be completed in order to take him down. In order, he has a speed trap, drag, sprint, circuit, then finally a sprint race. Since I haven't explained the speed trap event yet, I will briefly talk about it. Essentially, there are points of interest marked on the map, and the player needs to go as fast as possible through these zones. The player with the higher speed in these zones wins. The good thing with Razor's fight is that by the time you reach the last speed trap, Razor is super far behind, which results in an easy win. The drag race I was really surprised about since we managed to get it on the first try. Not sure if it was pure luck or skill, but hey, I'll take it. The other races weren't too noteworthy, but one race has my favorite exploit in this game. Basically, the player can go behind the arrowed lines that tell the player where to go. Going out of bounds past the prison will save the player a lot of time, and generally guarantee them the win. The last race was super fun, and there were a few times Razor rubber banded past me, but eventually we take him down. With all the Blacklist members Trevor's defeated, Razor tries to start some beef with us again, but Mia reveals that she is an undercover police officer. She throws us the keys to the BMW that Razor stole at the beginning, and now we gotta escape the cops. While the ending cop chase is playing, let's talk about this challenge run. Is one car doable in Most Wanted? Yeah, for sure. Do I recommend doing this? No, not unless you want to do a challenge run yourself. Though this car at the end had crazy acceleration and top speed, a lot of other cars fully upgraded would do a lot better. This was a super fun challenge to do. Most Wanted is one of my favorite games from my childhood, so it's nice to have an excuse to play it. Let me know down below if you'd like to see more Most Wanted and Need for Speed content in the future. Make sure to smash the like button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. This helps to support me and push out the videos to others who may be interested. Thank you for your awesome and uplifting support since I've started doing this. It means so much to me and I am eternally grateful. Try to do something kind for someone today, whether it's a small or large gesture. And this is your boy Skilled Fawn, and I'm out.